What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Dice That Bind Us. You may notice things are a little bit different for this one, and I thought that it'd be nice of me, the wonderful, generous, and kind DM, no matter what my players tell you, that's what I am, to give you guys a story recap so far, because we just finished a major story arc with the ending of the Grudd Haug saga. So we're going to jump way back to the beginning and in super quick succession bust through some of the major story points that have happened up till now, and then we're going to jump into some other fun things. So we're going to take this way back to the very beginning, the town of Nightstone, where a group of adventurers met, knowing that the town of Nightstone was in some kind of trouble and were heading there to help for whatever various reasons. Through some research, some study, our group met and found out that the Nightstone itself, a large black gemstone covered with magic runes and iconography, was the center power source for some kind of basically giant WMD called the Velimendrang. Moving forward from there, the party found out that there was a large organizational structure that kept the giant races in line called the Ordning. The Ordning was essentially a power structure that deemed one race of giants above all of the others in a sequential order moving down, the leader of whom was chosen by Anam the Allfather, the giant god. The last Ordning had been broken, and so all of the giants are now vying for power all across the Storm Coast through various means. Our party went on to try and stop them, try to do what they can, but were quickly intercepted by a group known as Xerxes, a secret society living in the shadows that has been around for longer than written history, it seems, constantly trying to move the world in a certain direction and making sure that they get the outcome in every major situation that they want. One of the major figures of Xerxes, the secret society, is a god, for no other word, the traveler known as Dandelion. Our party went through tons of trials and tribulations and everything they could possibly come across on their path, ultimately leading themselves to a place called Dandyland, a place of chaos and cartoons and sheep and monstrosities and every possible most bizarre thing you could possibly think of. After competing in a game show of sorts, they found their way out of Dandyland and came back to the real world, the Primaterial Plane, to meet up with a new friend named Harlan Dino, who informed the party that the hill giant Moog, who is currently vying for power in the Ordning, had a mission for them, and that Harlan was there to help them. This mission took our party to the Eye of the Allfather, what was originally thought to be some sort of item that gave the leader of the Ordning some sort of power, but was actually found out to be some sort of oracle that was a direct connection to Anam and all of his thoughts and memories. After asking some questions to this oracle and determining a path forwards, our party found out that they needed to go and find ancient giant relics hidden within shrines built by the Uthgardi barbarians in a sort of reverence and worship to Uthgard, the god. Our party went to Grudd Haug to set siege, and the battle was hard, long, and deadly when Dandelion showed up at the very end, wreaking havoc and trying to stop our friends as much as possible. Ultimately, this battle was won, but at the cost of Tempbard, one of our dear party members. The group reconciled with old friends Phil, Soup, Gum Gum, and there is where we left off. A group of people looking to find a way forwards, with no idea of where these shrines could be, with no idea of where to start looking. Several organizations, the High King's researchers, the Arcanist Magnate, a group of very powerful magic users, began to do research, but it was going to take time. So our party had about a 6-month intermission, a time skip, so to speak, while they figured out what was next. And that 6-month intermission is what we're going to be covering in the first part of today's episode. Anuk, let's start with you. Hi, Hero. So, Hero, why don't you describe how Anuk was feeling and where you were going and what you wanted to accomplish?
Anuk is hurt. There's a lot of loss going on right now. Anuk sent George off to be the best boy that George could be without Anuk, because Anuk's life is weird. So the decision was made to save George from the weirdness and sent off to find whatever makes George happy. So, there's that. Temp Bard. That, surprisingly, that loss really, really hurt Anuk. So Anuk decided to do the mourning that he shouldn't do, and that's avoidance. So the first thing he did was he traveled via plants off to the ocean and went walkabout. He literally went to the deepest parts of the ocean to research not research, but to explore, find new animals, of course, because that's always on the forefront of his mind, finding new animals to expand so that he could be more useful to his friends, as well as researching. I guess researching would be the right word for this, is he's looking to create or research some new spells as well. But he's traveling. He's off into the world, exploring the deepest depths and the highest peaks.
Perfect. So let's jump in here a little bit. Let's get some more detail to the walkabout journey. We're gonna pick up right after the events of Grudd Haug, right after your transport via plants to get out of the fortress itself. When you walk through, you immediately feel the pressure and lack of oxygen that comes from being far below in the depths. What is your plan?
First thing is wild shape.
Okay. What are we wild shaping into?
We'll start with the giant octopus.
A giant octopus. Perfect. In this form, immediately you feel at ease. You feel right at home in these dark, dark depths. You start taking a swim around, gathering your bearings. You've been here before. You've seen this tree, but the entire experience feels so different now. You're not here as Anuk, the lighthearted, cheerful Goliath druid. You're here as Anuk, the Goliath druid, who's here to strengthen and train himself. So you start to swim down. Down, lower, lower, to the point where even in this octopus form, you're starting to feel the strain. The pressure at this depth is almost insurmountable. And as you hit this point, all of a sudden the pressure is relieved all at once and all together. And as you glance around to see what may have changed, you see nothing more than what appears to be two light blue slanted eyes peering at you from the darkness. Large, large eyes. Probably 20 to 30 feet long in this slant. Just looking and watching. You don't get a sense of fear from this. You don't get a sense of anxiety. You get a sense of calm. You have no idea what it is that's looking at you, but you know it has a sense of what you're trying to do and wants to help you get to that point. No conversation is had, no greeting shared. And as you glance down at yourself and start to swim lower, one of your tentacles reaches out in front of you, drastically larger and drastically longer than before. And you gather that the change in your resilience to the pressure was not from a magical effect or some sort of outside presence. Whatever this new form you've taken on is just more capable of doing it. You travel further down and down and down into these depths to the point where you can't see, you can't hear, you are in crushing darkness. And you wait right at the point of not being able to handle it. You start to take in your surroundings and you see all sorts of marine life slowly shifting through the darkness. The longer you're down here, your eyes adjust more and more to this pitch black setting, and you start to pick up more glimpses of more and more things. You see giant squids. You see creatures larger than anything you've experienced on land. Your sperm whale form, this monstrous force that you've turned into before, seems to pale in comparison to some shape that you see off in the shadows moving. And I mean, pales too. You reach the moment where you can gauge your wild shape is coming to an end. Rise to the surface, spend a day on a small island nearby, resting, eating, making sure you're taken care of in every physical sense that you need, and you repeat the process in different places around different parts of this ocean. For what you were wanting to accomplish over your break, this is what you spend 6 months doing, is training and pushing yourself to that limit. I know you had brought up more things, but 6 months is not a super long time. You know, you were given no time limit, no real idea of when to go home, but you wanted to do this. You wanted to push through this. You wanted to become stronger for the sake of your friends, for your family. One of these days while you're at the bottom of the ocean, you hear a voice in your mind, a familiar feeling, a familiar sensation. You hear Olan speaking to you, saying, hi, I'm not sure where you've gone, but we think we found a way to find the shrines you guys were looking for. We're gathering everybody together. We need you to come back when you're ready. We don't mean to rush you, but we figured you would want to know. We're gathering everybody in Silvery Moon to meet up, the main hall of the Arcanus Magnate. Please join us if and when you're ready.
Well, since I can't quite cast spells in wild shaped form, I'll have to come up to a depth where I, as a Nook, will be safe to cast using a giant piece of kelp or seaweed or something that comes up from the bottom. I'll transport via plants back to Silvery Moon.
As you go to cast your spell, you feel that same calming presence. Do you continue to cast your spell?
Yeah.
Okay. The tree or this large piece of seaweed opens. And as you travel through, ocean water is gushing out with this just sheer pressure of the water down there. It's like a geyser opening. Where are you going? Where are you targeting with this spell?
I don't necessarily want to target the grove. So I will come outside of the. I will open up outside of the gates to Silvery Moon. I'm sure there was a big tree out there that I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will, in dramatic fashion, ride the wave out of the tree.
As you go to leave, there is a sense of pride that washes over you. Not self pride, but a feeling that someone or something has seen you putting yourself through the training that you did and is now going to be watching you much more closely. Here, having you return to Silvery Moon, that's where we're going to wrap up your small roleplay portion here. Let's talk character sheets.
All right, let's talk character sheets.
There are several things that come at the bottom of the ocean, but the hardest thing to bear for most, including most aquatic creatures, is the sheer bearing force of the pressures of the deep sea.
That's why I went there.
Anuk, from here on out, you have resistance to force damage.
Ho, 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 ho.
Shut up, Ian. Additionally, you have access to any seafaring beast or elemental that is within the level that you can use your new wild shape to accomplish. I trust you not to stretch that too far, but anything that you can reasonably have seen down there,
yeah,
you saw down there.
I mean, most of those things I can turn into already.
The elementals bit is the
Yeah,
extended effort.
I'm going to have to do some research with that. That'll be exciting.
Thank you. Let's jump over to our most punctual player, Tapartos.
Sorry.
You're fine, buddy. So, Ian.
Yes.
Take us through the thoughts and plan for Tapartos of what you wanted to accomplish over this 6-month interlude.
Tapartos had a lot he wanted to accomplish over the few short weeks to months that he had begun adventuring, had wandered out of his home to try a life for himself and ran into these crazy people, and then all of a sudden got embroiled in a plot to save the world. He's done a lot of growth, both powerfully and emotionally, quite literally, physically. And he's a different person now, much to his chagrin. But he kind of left with 3 main goals. The first is to know more about Dandelion. Tapartos is not an inherently violent person or angry person, Furbolg person, but he despises Dandelion with everything he has. It seems as though almost everything in the world that Tapartos has loved has in some way been tainted by Dandelion and his power. And so what Tapartos wants to do is take as much time and as much energy as he can to explore the resources at his disposal, to learn about Xerxes, to learn about Dandelion, to learn about the Traveler, whether or not that's through the Eye of the Allfather or the Oracle or the libraries of Silvery Moon or Waterdeep or anything. But he really, really wants to find out what Dandelion is, any potential weaknesses he may have, and how to finally rid at least the material plane of him. Second, Tapartos is really struggling with his self-identity, both as a Furbolg, which his only real remaining connection to that is Lysander, as a giant whom his heritage and lineage is getting tied to more and more, especially looking at Moog and what she is and like the true nature that is being taken out by him, as well as Gungrar, who has changed Tapartos's physiology. And while he may be able to unattune from the scythe, it doesn't feel like the right thing to do. And Tapartos really wants to kind of explore more about his giant heritage with Moog and the Oracle, his relationship with Gungrar and trying to find something about like who he is. And then finally, Tepartos also wants to, I know this is a lot, spend this time sort of atoning for a lot of the mistakes that he's made. He's lost a lot of people, either by fault of his own or indirectly, but he feels tied to those that he has decided to care about. And so Tepartos is definitely interested in doing anything he can to try to either help or resurrect or whatever he can do for Tempbard and or their soul. He is very adamant on finding Ivan and helping him from whatever agreement he's gotten himself into, and naturally restoring him as the rightful king of hell, because honestly, if there's going to be a king of hell, might as well like the dude, and try to see what he can do for Zephyros as well, all the people, the things that he's lost over this journey.
So what it's sounding like is that you want to do research, is you want to start researching into Dandelion yourself and into the current situation of like Ivan and Zephyros and what you can do for Tempbard and those kinds of things.
The breaking of contracts.
Olan, when you express your intent, leads you to the Library of Silvery Moon. It's one of the most magnificent and massive libraries in existence. But specifically, he takes you to one of his friends, a wood elven man by the name of Tentok. TEN''TOK. Tentok looks at you as upon arrival. He's a very simple looking fellow, very much so, wearing very simple commoner's clothes, very long, light brown hair coming off the top of his head. You can see his ears have actually been cut off. The tops of them have been cut. And this figure stands out where normally he wouldn't, because he is in Silvery Moon, this place where everyone is walking around very elegantly and holds themselves so high. And when you see Tentok for the first time, he is sitting in a chair in a library with his feet kicked up on a table, casually scrolling through a book. And as you walk in, he goes, "Oh, hi, hello, hi.
Hello, friend.
Tepartos."
Yes.
Right, Tepartos. I was told you're trying to do some research.
That I am.
Well, that's what I'm here for.
You excel in the field of finding things.
I excel precisely not in the field. Actually, that's kind of the thing. I excel in the library. With the books.
Tepartos appreciates the word of play. The play of word. Yes.
The what?
Never mind.
No, I'm a really bad farmer, but I'm a really good book reader.
I'm sorry for your crops, but I appreciate your knowledge.
Yes. So, Olan told me that I'm supposed to be helping you along with an abundance of research.
Yes. As much as Tepartos can get his hands on, really. There are many things he wishes to know.
So I have... I am an Arcanist Magnate.
Yes.
My affinity is knowledge. Weird, right?
Yes.
Here. You see he reaches into his bag sitting kind of like loosely hung over the side of his chair, and he pulls out a tome. One of the ones you've seen Olan use, one of all of the other Arcanist Magnate you've seen. But unlike all the other ones, his is not floating or at his beck and call. It is a leather-bound book, and as he pulls it out, it has all the markings and the runes of an Arcanist Magnate tome on it. But as he folds it open, there's maybe a dozen pages in it. You know how these are supposed to be like really full?
Yes, and floating from what Tepartos has seen as well.
Right. So I have memorized every book in this library via spell.
DePartos just looks around at the library like, you mean every book?
Everyone. Now, sometimes it gets fuzzy
Yes.
because that's
Naturally.
a lot in my head, but that's why Olan brought you to me, is to save you the time of reading all those books and trying to find the right information. I've got it all up here. So, I mean this as respectfully as possible, but you don't look like a book-learned man.
No, DePartos is not a book-learned man.
You seem more of like a question and answer type. So,
Yes.
I will do my best to answer all of your questions and getting you the books that you need if I can't remember it accurately.
You beautiful creature, you.
I'm actually quite aesthetically average, but I appreciate the thought.
Your talents far outweigh that, sir. Thank you. I would love to ask you what I can. Thank you for being willing to help.
So, Ian,
Yes.
you can ask me anything you would like. I will answer with any knowledge that could be researched in the world. If there is no answer that I can give you, there is nothing written down about it.
Okay. Is this something I should do all of now or compile a list and act later?
You should do as much of it as you can now, but remember to keep other players in mind, and we can discuss other things at a later time if we need to.
Cool.
So, ask away.
Well, DePartos supposes first off is information about Xerxes, he supposes. Would you be able to tell me just a brief rundown of either where they come from or came from originally, when they started, when they may have popped up in the past, and why they're back here now, or if they're back here now, or if anybody has known or recorded that?
So the thing about Xerxes is that they've existed since before written history.
Oh, fan-fucking-tastic.
They seem to crop up every time that a major world-changing event happens.
Right.
And they throw their lot in with the side that they want to win.
Yes.
That side pretty much always wins. Their leader is unknown. Nobody has ever been able to track the organization that high. But we do know that there are 3 major players they send into the field to handle their business.
Yes.
One of them you're familiar with, Dandelion.
Yes.
Another is a Furbolg gentleman. Moved up the ranks quite recently, has been bouncing around, doing this, that, and the other. Sort of the lowest of the 3 on the totem pole. What was his name? He looked kind of like a Furbolg. You know, like you, little shorter.
Would he happen to be adept in dimensional magic?
From my reports, it has been said that he has used some sort of planar magic to trap people that he needed to extract information from or lock away for some time. That's sort of what he is. He's their primary information gatherer. He's a smooth talker, goes through doing those kinds of things. It's out of his wheelhouse, though, that magic.
Not something he's used to?
You're right. He used to be a paladin.
Does the name Dianthus ring any bells?
That's the one.
Shit.
The third block, very blocky society. I don't know. Yeah, that's probably why they're on the wrong side of things. There's nobody else. Just a bunch of dudes in the charge. It's
Diversity
the wrong way to
important.
go about things. Diversity is truly important. But the lot of it, he's a Goliath fella. Very powerful. Said to rival Dandelion on the scale of 1 to almighty.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, the thing about him though is that he's being brainwashed. He's a silent warrior. He just gets sent to end problems. The only reason he hasn't been sent after you lot, from what we can gather, is that you pissed Dandelion off personally.
But he could very well be an obstacle in the path later if we are
Most
to
likely,
continue
yeah.
this.
Unless we can figure out a way to snap him out of it. And then he could probably be our best ally.
Is there any information?
No idea.
I did not even ask the question.
You were going to ask me if I know any way to snap him out of it, or what can be done to make that happen?
Or even the origin of what has
Not
brainwashed
even remotely an idea.
Okay, that seems about fair. Well, back onto the subject of Dandelion,
How do you kill him?
effectively. Or how
You
do
have
we
to find
stop
him. You have to find him.
Assuming the real him and not whatever he has been sending after us.
Right.
What is he? He's
god.
a god, yes? Is he sending
Well, he's
avatars, phylacteries?
simulacrums. It's a pretty common spell. It's high powered, but it's pretty much anybody that studies the arcane can master it. The problem with it is that it's a one-off. It's a one and done. So imagine making a copy of yourself that had all of your spells, your abilities, your everything, besides your items,
Yes.
but that never got any of it back once it was used. They're just clones. Shitty ones at that.
Well, those clones have killed many.
Oh, I
people.
mean, they're shitty clones of a god. They're not like shitty comparatively to you or I. They're quite powerful, but as compared to the original, they're nothing.
Tepartos assumed as much.
But that's my next mission, so to speak.
Finding him.
Finding him. Finding the real him.
Are there any leads so far on the
Not
Xerxes
to one.
organization?
Not the one. They're secretive. They keep all their stuff to themselves. There's not really anything any of us can do to force it out of them.
No clue where they could potentially be located.
There's one theory, but it's not proven and not tested.
I'd love to hear it.
The astral plane. Time gets all janky there.
That would make sense.
That's how the same organization can appear on the prime material throughout history.
Simultaneous with the realm of chaos. That's a very big problem.
Yes.
They are a very big problem.
Yes.
Do they have their sights on anyone besides us?
Yes.
Assuming many people.
Yes.
Anybody that may be a interesting potential ally that we could speak with?
There's a few. Dragons. They're a bit worried about dragons. There's some old school druid bloke living off in the near the mountains somewhere. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's out there somewhere. Real powerful fella.
Would he be the one who created Liferlas in Golden Fields?
Who?
The big sentient tree who hangs out in the city of Golden
I've never been myself.
Oh, okay. Really? You have no information on Golden Fields?
I know of Golden Fields. I know what it is, but I don't know its population like the back of my hand.
I just assumed that the very big
No,
tree
I
would-
literally,
okay.
this is where I live. I don't leave here. I've never been outside of this building.
Well, if you ever do,
I won't, but I
Well,
appreciate the offer.
it's a lovely place. That is all Tepartos is saying. Okay, understood. You don't have a name for this man, but he lives nearby in the mountains.
Not nearby per se, somewhere to the northwest of here.
Northwest. Tepartos will keep that in mind and will likely ask you about this later.
You guys have that location. It was already given to you.
I know. I just need to have the world map up in front of me.
You were wanting to know if you're a giant.
Kind of.
I mean, yes. Obviously, you're a giant. All Furbolgs and Goliaths and all of you are giants. You're giant kin. You descend
You're
from them.
descended.
You specifically are probably 4 generations removed, maybe 5. From like the big bad giants, like the full sized ones.
Right.
That far back.
But we have no Furbolgs, Goliaths, the half-breeds, as you will. Do we have any connection to the Ordering? We are not one of the main 6.
No, you are separate. Essentially, your humanoid blood that makes you small makes the giants think that you're incompetent and weak, so you should not be even remotely respected.
What would happen if we were to prove that false?
They'd probably be upset.
They have been.
You yourself, Departos, are a strange case. You and your friend, the paladin.
Lysander.
Yes. Both of you have your giant lineage much closer back than you might think. Do you know your great-great-grandfather?
I know of him.
What do you know of him?
I know he started our clan. He was integral in bringing the Furbolgs around me.
Right, you know the information about him, but did you know he was a cloud giant?
What?
Not as far back as you might have expected.
Who?
Your great-grandfather?
Okay, well...
I don't know his name.
How...
Well, I look at you, and I know. 4 to 5 generations back, if not your great-grandfather, your great-great-grandfather.
Well, great-grandfather would make sense. He was who I got my namesake from.
All-powerful, leader of the family, never challenged, always trusted.
Yes.
Described as the most powerful person to come from your family, most likely.
And yet the kindest and the most just. Shit, I'm a cloud giant.
Well, but you're a Furbolg.
Well, Departos was under the impression that, for lack of a better word, that Furbolg was not so much a mixing of blood as opposed to an evolution over many generations and time, not...
Evolution over generation and time doesn't happen in a world when you're full of magic that can change you on the spot.
So Departos is a separate race, but not?
Genetically modified by magic.
Departos has overgone many changes. As
I can tell.
Yes.
I mean, you're carrying an orc splitter on your back, so that's got to be fun.
We'll get to that in just a second.
You have questions, I'm sure.
Should probably talk to him soon. Also, we'll get there. Anyway, will this continue to progress and...
No.
No? Okay.
Unless you wanted to. There's somebody here that could full swing you.
Into a giant.
Well, into your genetic history, yeah.
Departos will have to think about this.
Yeah, that one's irreversible.
Yes. Speaking
Plus,
of,
you'd be like twice as tall as your lady friend at that point, and
Yes. We don't, but it... Departos does... Orc splitter on my back here.
Talk to Gungrar.
Just talk to him. Okay.
I can tell you where it came from, the battles, the everything else, but I'm not the person that was there to live them. I'm also not the person that can tell you how to persuade the weapon to fit your goals.
This is true.
We have plenty of time over the coming months to find out the information you desire. You seek.
We do. I would love to dive deeper into all of this, and I'm sure whenever Departos is able to find his friends, doesn't really know where most of them have gone, they will likely have questions that I'm sure we would love to have answered if you are willing to share your knowledge as well.
I'm around.
I look forward to working with you. I'm
You
sure
as well,
we'll be
Departos.
spending a
Good
lot
luck
of
in the
time
outside
together.
world. I'll be here.
Thank you, my friend.
So, Departos, you are given basically full access to a study room in the library.
Mhm.
It is entirely your own. Tentok is set down stacks of books in front of you to spend the next several months poring over to gain as much knowledge as possible. But you wanted to have a conversation with Gungar.
Yes.
Okay. Focusing in, he's always listening. And
Hi, Gungrar.
Lottie.
It's been a while since we've spoken.
I mean, technically it's only been like a couple days.
They've been some pretty fucky days.
True.
I suppose I'm going Scottish. I suppose starting off, how are you?
Well, I'm trapped in an ox, so...
Right. That's less than ideal.
It's not great.
Is it better if I manifest you for more time outside of the axe?
It doesn't really matter.
Right, you're still a soul within a blade.
Unless you know somebody that can bring any random person back from the dead, but,
At some point, the Partos may actually be able to do that. He's not entirely sure. I mean, a fragment of your soul lives in this, so that could be enough of it. Anyway.
I mean, if something were to happen like that, then Orc Splitter would no longer be bound to me and my objectives, so...
Right.
That would mean that it would no longer be Orc Splitter.
Would you happen to be proposing something?
Well, you want that, like, points at Orc Splitter, to fuck up that dandy bitch, right?
Yes, I want that very badly.
It's going to do that much less effectively if it's designed to kill orcs and not gods.
So you're saying, if I'm able to remove you...
Then you'd gain a powerful ally in your fight against those Xerxes fucktwats.
Mm-hmm.
And with enough time and focus, a god splitter. Think of that.
The Partos is thinking of that. At the same time, would that be something even safe to have in the hands of a mortal on this plane? And would you be willing to part with
It
this
did
weapon?
for me what it needed to do. Just know that it comes at a cost.
The
If
Partos
you
understands.
use it for wrong, you end up like me.
Gungrad, the Partos would like to spend more time with you, if you are willing.
I'm all for it, lad. I'm all for it.
Excellent. I know we did not necessarily get off to the most pleasant of starts.
Oh, it's because
but-
you were kind of a bitch.
Well, that's fair. Hopefully Tapartos can prove himself otherwise.
You already have, laddie. You already have.
Thank you, Gunkar.
Now,
Let's
books.
get you out of this weapon. And let's figure out if I can resurrect.
As soon as he says books, he's gone. It's like, nope, not helping. I'm out.
All right. So we have
you
to figure
can-
out if we can resurrect the soul.
If you can figure out a way to resurrect Gunrar, then Orc Splitter will just be blank Splitter until you take time to forge a legendary weapon to your bidding.
Excellent.
With that, Ian, let's talk character sheets.
Yes.
You took a great deep mental dive for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Ian, I'd like to increase your intelligence score by 2.
So from 12 to 14?
12 to 14.
Ooh-hoo-hoo.
It may not seem as important as resistance to force damage,
It's still big.
but trust me, that's a big thing. Plus, I told you how to get a legendary weapon so you can deal with it.
Yeah. No, I'm going to be just fine.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Eliana, front and center, please, if you would.
Hello.
How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Good,
So,
good.
Eliana.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I cut you off there. Eliana, why don't you describe to myself and to the audience at home what Eliana's been wanting to do over this 6-month period?
Well, Juliana would definitely want to mourn her tent god, first couple nights, but then just prepare for the next giant siege. So she would like to go back to Silvermoon, go back to Olan, ask him for any kind of residence or job or anything that Ileana can do to just kind of live in Silvermoon for the 6 months, studying, practicing magic, whatever it may be. There was also a Arcanist Magnate, I believe, necromancer named Jazal that I like to go and speak to and kind of see what she has to offer me. And just kind of go from there. Copy new spells, just do general research about like giant and dragon history. I
Perfect.
definitely want to pick up a book about dragon courtship rituals, 100%.
Okay. Olan, as soon as you ask where is, yeah, no, of course. We can get you set up with a room in the institute if you'd like. To Jazal, whom I know wants to mentor you loosely, and free room and board, free food.
Sounds wonderful.
Perfect. Let's get you set up. So Olan leads you to the Arcanus Magnate Institute, which is the like massive school building. When you walk into the entryway, there is one door in front of you. And as Olan approaches the door, you see a ring of symbols appears that you know represents each of the schools of magic. And then there is one additional rune that you're not as familiar with. He taps that rune, and the door, that rune glows, the others fade away, and he opens the door. Upon opening the door, you see that you are in a dormitory, essentially. Rows upon rows of of massive bedrooms and like barrack style housing, and but instead of it being like bunk beds or like lined up beds, there's just rows upon rows of small bedrooms. Very much so like a dorm at a college would be. So I guess what I'm saying is nothing like barracks living. It is not like that at all. But he walks in, and without questioning or moving, he moves you up to the 3rd floor and opens the door for you and says, "That's yours." And you can see engraved on the door is your name, already waiting for you.
Thank you. Is there anything that I can help with? I mean,
I would focus on your training with Jazal for now. If you somehow find yourself with free time, we can find some stuff for you to do. But I have a feeling that you much more than likely want to spend some time in room 47C. I may suggest to check that out later.
understood. Thank you,
Yeah.
Alan.
Yeah. Would you like to go meet Jazal?
Yes. Yes, please.
Perfect. He leads you back towards that doorway at the base of the dormitory, and you see as you approach it from the backside, the same thing happens with this ring of the 9 base schools of magic, and he taps on the necromancy one. The door opens, and it leads into the most stereotypical like goth hangout that you've ever seen in your entire life. Just pitch black painted walls, like leading down into like a fake crypt carved into the ground, with all sorts of different study rooms and laboratories and all sorts of stuff scattered throughout. And you can see in one of these laboratories off to the side, you see Jazal standing there, and you're so, son of a bitch. No. And like just looking as there's like smoke billowing out of like her tome itself, just like pouring smoke. Roland walks up and goes, Jazal. The tome immediately snaps shut. She turns and goes, Olan, it's wonderful to see you. I am quite pleased to have you here unannounced. What do you want?
Hi, Jazal.
Ileana. Wonderful, wonderful. Have you come to take me up on my offer?
Yes, I have.
Good, perfect. Olan, that'll be all. Thank you. And like walks forward and like puts her arm around your shoulder and leads you into this laboratory. So you want to become more adept at necromancy, yes? In what ways?
I want to be more efficient with the specific ways that I summon things. I would rather not have to use like organic material if that's possible. It's It seems kind of frowned upon, and it'll be easier for me to just be able to do whatever.
That sounds like basic conjuration.
Kind of.
You like the aesthetic of undead, that sort of drive for things, but you don't want to be shunned in society for these things.
Yeah.
A feeling I know all too well, my dear Ileana. Now, what if you could prove that necromancy was beneficial?
I thought about that, and I think I can do that, but sometimes people just seem like they still don't like it.
What have you told your friends?
I actually didn't say anything, but they had a uh, discussion with Lysander's brother. Actually, it was really weird. We were in like a demi-plane thing, and it was like a trick on Lysander, and then they talked about necromancy.
Allow me to show you something. Come, come, come. And leads you, and she leads you through a long set of corridors leading, kind of wrapping around and spiraling through. And then at the end of it, there's a long spiral staircase that leads upwards. And as you take this staircase, it opens up into a vast array of fields, like farming, like agricultural fields. You see produce, and you see all sorts of just farming happening. And you recognize where you are almost immediately. You're in Golden Fields. You see the farmers of Golden Fields going through, tending to the farms, doing what they can. And Jazala looks at you and goes, "Peaceful, is it not?
Yeah.
This may be shocking, so prepare yourself." And she taps your shoulder. And all of a sudden, you blink, and you see moving through the fields just skeleton after skeleton after skeleton, plowing and pulling and harvesting and just performing all of this menial labor.
Jumping clap.
She goes, "Golden Fields is large, and with the magic of the goddess shining through here, the crops grow at an exorbitant rate. The farmers and citizens of Golden Fields cannot keep up on their own. They came to Silvery Moon for magical help and are quite proud of their unseen servants, aiding them in their day-to-day. Those people, those are the remains of the people that attacked this town not too long ago when your friends were here." You kind of look, and you take a closer look, and you see that they're not humanoid. Some of them they're all humanoid-esque,
Yeah.
but they're not human. You see goblins and hobgoblin skeletons and some bugbear skeletons all moving through. This is what we do with the dead that come and attack settlements, citizenships. We put them to work. It is a waste to let their bodies go for nothing. And most of the time, when people invade, they have their leaders have no interest in reclaiming those bodies to send home. It is tragic. So we get what identifying information we can from them via things like Speak with Dead and other such spells. And we send their families letters and things that they have fallen in battle and will not be returning, along with a handsome sum of gold to help the families along their way. It's not... This would be frowned upon if people did not understand what was happening. But your friends know and trust Olan, correct?
Yeah.
He is the one that set up this agreement.
I love it. It's so efficient.
It is using what is provided. Now, there is something else I wanted to show you. When you raise something, it is mostly just their loose skeletons or perchance a mindless drone of the body that was once there. Yes?
Yeah, it's hard to like make that connection and keep that intelligence. The kind of basic.
What if you could do more?
That would be ideal. I could.
Come with me. And you see she starts leading you to the gates of Golden Fields, kind of waving at people as they pass by. Hey, Jazal! Jazal, how you doing today? Just passing through the town. As they move through the gates, they turn and start moving towards the woods that surround Golden Fields. And on the outsides of this area, you can see there are some trees being felled for lumber. You see carrying massive saws, like the two-person like logging saws that like run back and forth, are the ogres and hill giants that the party fought in Golden Fields. But they look mostly intact. And as Jazal walks by, kind of, Rufus, how are you doing today? Good. And moves between back and forth and talks to just talking casually to these ogres moving through. And she turns to look at you and goes, "Those are undead."
What? How'd you do that? I've tried so many times. They never. What?
My affinity is long death. Technically, my affinity is time manipulation. But with an emphasis on my wizard training from forever ago in necromancy. The way that I utilize my magic when something reaches the pinnacle point of death, they still have some trace of the energy that once moved them, carried them inside of themselves. And if I can get to them within a certain amount of time, I can keep them moving on that small trace of energy. Those creatures were killed by your allies. But if you looked at them, you would never know.
I want to like run up to one of them, like saying, "Oh my god, that's amazing!" I just kind of want to like feel it and just like
100% real.
so cool.
It will be intensive. It will be time-consuming, energy draining. But if you are willing to dedicate time to it, I can teach you the basics of long death.
I'd like that. That seems like a very useful skill.
Very well. Then shall we go back and get to work?
Yeah.
Perfect. Devin, let's talk character sheet. So, long death is not a new spell. Instead, when you use the spell animate dead or raise dead or
create undead.
Anything that makes undead, whatever your base corpse is for those spells will be what those creatures look like, smell like, understand, talk like, the whole thing, but they will all be directly under your control, just as with the spell. The restrictions still apply. So if you cast, animate dead or whatever it is, you still have to have that 24-hour recast and such. But your undead now can understand common, can telepathically communicate simple phrases to you, and will be indistinguishable from a walking, talking person.
That's so awesome. Okay.
Does that sound good?
Is that like beasts? Is like
anything?
Like anything? Okay,
anything cool. That you can create with a necromancy spell.
Do they still need to like eat or breathe or any of that? Like, or is it just like
they are undead?
Cool.
In all aspects except appearance.
Awesome. I love it.
But that's only effective. It's only active when you have cast the spell.
Okay.
So it's not like if you have skeletons in your bag, they are
And
still
then drop them out.
skeletons in your bag.
Yeah.
You have to have cast the spells. You have to have cast the spells for that to take place.
I'm assuming you said like within a certain amount of time. It was 1 minute. You said after you like get to the difficult.
24 hours.
Okay. Cool.
And every time you cast a spell, it resets that time.
Okay. Awesome.
Good. Perfect. Let's jump across the board to Gargak. Hi, buddy.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm chilling. Big
Good.
vibing.
Yeah, good. So I'm sure you've gathered the formula for this so far. Why don't you tell me and the audience at home how Garagak was feeling at the end of Grudd Haug? Where he went, what led him to that path?
Okay. Gargak is very upset. In his mind, he killed Tempbard. And Gargak only really cares about one thing, and that's his friends. So for him to kill a friend, he's pretty messed up about it. So he would have ran off with his mom to try and see if she could help him control his mind and not be controlled anymore, while also looking deeper into Dandy Basher, knowing it's the counteract to Dandelion, and to see if there's any way he could use it to which he's not really a good studier, right? I mean, he's Garagak. So he would basically just be training with it. That's the one thing he knows how to do. And to try and better himself so he can't be controlled anymore and protect his friends.
You find your mom after the battle. She kind of comes and finds you, rather. You kind of tucked away at the end of last episode. I think you were literally a dog hiding under the table. She walks in, instinctively knows that that's you. Comes over and kind of gives you scritches behind the ear. Says, "Oh, what happened? Are you okay?"
It would drop wild shape, probably like knocking the table up.
Yeah.
Like hug Bear Mom and be like, "No, I killed one of my friends."
Well, that doesn't sound right at all. I know you wouldn't have done something like that.
I couldn't control it. I couldn't control myself. I just know I did it.
Why don't we go home for a while? Have a talk. See your sister.
Okay. He'd like jump on Mom Bear's back.
Yeah. She she has the frame of a very much older woman, this very kind of frail-esque form, but even surprising to you with how much you've grown and kind of changed since she's not a bear. You're very used to that form.
Right.
But she tanks it. Doesn't even flinch. She just carries you right out.
Nice.
You see, as you're walking out, she finds a small tree outside of Grudd Haug and casts a spell, and a doorway, like a small portal-like doorway, opens, and she walks you through it, and you find yourself immediately back at the small clearing that you called home from when you were found and raised to now. And she goes, "Well, sweetie, why don't you walk me through what happened? Because I know my boy, and I know he would not have killed one of his friends or loved ones. I know that."
Well, the only thing I remember before was Dandelion's voice saying it's time. And then I just lost control of everything.
You're going to have to bear with me.
I wild shape into a bear.
Fair. she just keeps kind of talking. Goes, my memory's not the best. I'm a very old woman. Dandelion is the bad guy, the one with the, what was it, Xerxes?
Yeah. Yeah, Xerxes.
Xerxes. He's strong, right?
Yeah.
How strong is he?
I'm not really sure. I haven't got to battle him one-on-one. But he's killed many of my friends.
Well, I mean, he's an ordinary guy, right? Like,
They call him a god.
she kind of like pauses for a minute. Sweetie, you and your friends are fighting gods?
Yeah, kinda.
And this god has killed your friends?
Yeah, like 2 times? 3 times?
And was strong enough to control your mind?
Yeah.
You know I love you, right?
Of course.
Well, then please try to remember that when I tell you what I'm about to tell you. You know, you've been living as you, this, your half-orc self for your entire life.
Yeah.
I'm sure that since, you know, I told you that I found you in the woods that day. Well, that's not precisely what happened. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to tell you that I wasn't the one that raised you or nothing like that. You're my boy. But the truth is that I didn't just found you, I had you.
Oh.
Your father was a real piece of work. And when he found out what I was, he ran. So when I had you, I decided that I would never make you face that life of having someone run just because they knew who you were or what you are.
What am I?
You ever heard of a werewolf?
Yeah.
Well, did you know there's bear kinds?
No.
Bears, yeah. Well, that's what I am. That's what my mama was. That's what my mama's mama was. Well, son, I hate to say it, but that's what you are.
I'm a werebear?
You're a werebear.
Huh.
Now, the reason I didn't tell you is because technically, right now, you're not.
Oh.
But you have the ability to be. It's not fun. Don't worry, I'm not going to bite you or nothing. It's a blood thing. It runs in the family.
Okay.
But the thing is, it can only go to one child in the family line. Your brother, bless his heart, and I mean this respectfully to you, was supposed to be that child.
He was always the strong one.
I liked my life as a bear. And I know that sounds strange to someone who, well, probably not to you, but if I was to go to any of your friends and say I like my life as a bear, maybe except for the Goliath fella, he was really nice. He'd probably understand.
Yeah.
But they might look at me a little funny. Garagak, I've been a bear your entire life. The first time that I left that form was when you came a calling for me. Your brother and sister I had as a bear.
Oh.
It's confusing. I know this is probably really weird to talk about with your child, with your mother, but they are bears. You are a half-orc like your piece of shit father.
So dad was a half-orc?
Well, your dad was an orc.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
Did you meet dad as a bear?
Work? No, I met your dad as a woman.
Oh, okay.
Good question.
Just curious.
We're just gonna shift past this. This conversation's taking a turn.
Yeah.
Essentially, we need to go back to the place your brother died, where we buried him. We gotta get that. There's something on him, his person, that'll let me pass the power to you.
Okay.
It does mean no. We'll fast that. Garagak, you willing to take a walk with me?
Yeah. Can we do it like we used to?
Absolutely.
A lot shape into a bear.
Yeah, you realize now that transition, the first time you saw it, where it looked a lot more like slow and kind of painful.
Yep.
Wasn't because it was a druid's wild shape that hadn't happened in a while. And so it takes a little time for her to catch up to you.
Right.
But you guys run through the forest back to a very familiar sight for you. Your mom says to you, he'd be really proud of you.
You think so?
Baby brother saving the world? Who wouldn't?
He saved me, though.
I guess he's saving the world right with you then. You see, there's this tree that has markings from the attack. And at the base of it, there's a stone. Just a small rock placed there, kind of embedded into the roots of the tree. She kind of pushes it to the side a little bit, and you can see that etched into the side of the rock is just a carving of two bears, one slightly larger than the other, kind of back to back, both just looking up and roaring at the sky. Shifts it and paws out a little bit of the dirt from this section, and she pulls out this small blood red piece of it. It looks like limestone almost, but blood red. And it looks like the blade of a dagger that was broken off at some point. This is gonna let me give you the abilities of our family. I have to warn you, it's not easy to control at first.
I won't hurt anyone, will I?
Not with me around, you won't. I'll make sure.
I won't hurt you, will I?
No, you couldn't hurt me if you tried, young one.
Garrick would stand up and be like, I don't know.
As you do that, her bear form, the head kind of tilts slightly, and two tree branches kind of shift into vines and wrap your arms. Just kind of hold you up a little bit off the ground.
Yeah, I just start laughing, all right, I give, Mom, I give.
Kind of chuckles and lets you down. At this point, she She turns back into her human form. I'm gonna need you like this, buddy. Sorry.
Okay.
Like, if you could, you know,
Not be a bear?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll drop wild shape.
Okay. She places the stone in your hand. I'm gonna take that mace you're carrying from you for a minute, okay?
Okay. Don't lose it, though.
I'm not gonna lose it. Kind of takes that and kind of pulls any other weapons you're holding off of you.
A lot.
Yeah. Takes the rope, bag of ball bearings. Just like anything sharp or dangerous she can find. So it's like tucking them into a little like knot hole in a tree and just like hiding everything in there. Closes your hands around the stone and then places hers around yours. Are you sure you want to do this?
If it'll give me the strength to protect my friends, yeah.
That it will. She closes her eyes and starts breathing out. And as she does, the wind around you picks up and starts spiraling. And within seconds, you find yourself dead in the center of a tornado that is whipping around you. Pitch black and green looking storm clouds roll in. Lightning starts striking down around. And you see the veins on your mom's arms start to kind of bulge out a little bit. You can almost physically see the blood moving in them. And then you experience one of the most painful strikes of pain in your entire life as the stone, without you changing the pressure from your hands or anything, your mom smashes your hands closed and the stone pierces into the palms of your hands. You see that on the backs of your hands, you can feel almost like a poison running through your system. Slowly, your veins start to get darker and darker red as this curse moves through you. And the pain ultimately becomes unbearable. You fall unconscious. You wake up, who knows how much later. You see your mom sitting in a tree looking at you in her human form still. How you feeling?
Like I got in a bar fight?
You must lose a lot of bar fights then.
No. The hell of a hangover.
Fair enough. You know I love you, right?
Yeah.
I want you to keep that in mind when I tell you what I'm about to tell you.
Oh.
Well, see, there was something I didn't tell you before we did that. Only one person can ever carry that power at a time.
Fucking do it. Does that mean you're going away?
No. Don't be stupid. I'm
Okay.
fine. I'm just not like you anymore.
But you loved being a bear.
I sure did.
What if you come back with me? My friend Anook can teach you to turn into a bear. He taught me.
Kind of smiles. I can change my shape just fine, Garagak. Don't you fret. I just can't do bears anymore. Who knows? Maybe I'll be just as happy as an eagle flying through the sky. Or, I don't know, shark or some shit. That seems cool. Or, who knows? Maybe it's time to leave the forest. Your sister was supposed to come back a while ago, but she writes every now and then.
Oh, where's she been?
Some big city. I don't know. There's a guy came through here. Real strange fella. Right right when you left, actually, about a couple days after, there was this there's a real tall fella. What's the? I haven't been around people very much.
A giant?
No, not that big.
Oh,
Kind of though. Taller than you.
Furbolg?
They're the ones with the funky hair.
Yeah, some of them have funky hair.
That's probably what it was then. Came by talking about a Solanus, Saluna,
Sylvanas?
that one. That one.
A couple of
Hey,
my friends worship Sylvanas.
really?
Hmm?
Well, can they change people too?
Change? I don't think so.
I came and offered your sister a way to go and see the cities and live the human life and get out of the forest.
Huh.
Well, you know your sister. She wants to go and adventure and live her life, so she took him up on it, and two of them done walked out of the forest on me, and now the only thing I know is I get letters every now and then.
Did you catch his name?
Dinosaur?
Dianthos?
Something like that. I don't know. Well, she'll be around. Now, more importantly, we got to focus on you.
Yeah.
You're going to have to stay here for a while.
Okay.
It's the only way that I can make sure you stay safe while we get you to control what's going on. And once you get that figured out, we can start working on some other things.
Okay. Do you still have Dandy Basher?
Yeah, it's in the tree right here.
Oh, okay. Can you tell me anything about it?
Kind of like grabs it, pulls it out. It's got heavy bits and some sharp bits, and it looks like a dandelion.
But every time I do something good, special things seem to happen.
It's got heavy bits, sharp bits, and magic bits, and it looks like a dandelion.
That's fair.
What? Why would you think I would know anything about this? There's an old lady who was a bear for 20 years.
Because mom can do all things.
Well, someone else's mom's going to have to cover this one.
Okay.
Tell you what, I'll write a letter to an old friend of mine. No promises. They could be dead. Haven't spoken in years. But I'll see if they can come down towards the end of this, and we'll see what we can get figured out.
Okay.
Gargak, you spend the next 4 months in the most painful, excruciating, ravenously hungry state of your entire existence. Your mom keeps tabs on you. You'd spend a few nights tied to a tree. By the end of it, you are a werebear.
Awesome.
You spend the following 2 months training with Dandy Basher, trying to figure out what's happening, what is doing this, what kind of properties it may hold. But with it being just you and your mom, there's not a lot of insight gained.
Right.
You can leave your mom's early if you would like, and like try to go somewhere to like do book research.
Gargak wouldn't do that.
Right. So I
Yeah.
wanted to be fair.
That's, yeah.
So you guys, or you rather, Garagak, I'm so used to addressing all of you. You, Garagak, just you.
Okay.
Let's talk character sheets.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. How does this work?
okay. So
Fucking werebear. We take those.
Let's start off with the one that I think you're going to find the most interesting.
Okay.
You are immune to all non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage.
Just completely immune.
Completely immune. If it's not a magic weapon, it doesn't touch you.
Okay.
You gain both a bear form, less cool for you because you can already do that. You do gain a hybrid form, which means that your body takes on bear-like features. You'll grow a little taller. You grow claws. You grow like teeth. Essentially, you can make claw and bite attacks with your strength score and your like proficiency bonus, all that kind of stuff applied instead of a bear's normal stats.
Wow.
You would also get advantage on perception checks with your nose.
Oh.
And in your hybrid form, you get +1 to your AC. Yeah, I think that's good enough for you for 6 months training.
Yeah, we take those.
Yeah, you happy? You happy with that?
Yeah.
I figured you'd take that.
Immune to bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing damage.
Remind me later, and I'll tell you some fun stories of the time I got to play as a werebear in a D&D campaign.
Okay. Do I need to change my race or anything? Is that an actual race?
Nope.
Okay.
You're 100% fine.
Okay. But now I can turn into a bear without using wild shape, right?
Yeah. Anytime. It is a full action to do it instead of bonus action.
Okay.
But it is just a and it's permanent change for as long as you want to change it. Do keep in mind that your hybrid form, like walking into towns, things like that, like will draw different kinds of attention. So
cool. That's fair.
Keep that in mind.
Yep.
Lycanthropes are not exactly smiled upon, as your mom kind of alluded to.
Right.
Just things to be aware of.
Yeah.
That's fair. Awesome, man. Awesome. I'm gonna kick you out for now.
Yep.
I'm gonna do Dash next. Lysander. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, it's lovely to see your face.
You took my backstory pain and gave it to other people.
No, your backstory pain gave me your brother, a tool with which to use. Lysander after Grudd Haug.
Yes.
Where was his head? Where is he heading? What is your plan here?
Lysander was basically completely shaken, especially with the last handful of words from Dandelion. And due to that, I have to go home. I want to go home and complete from my rites, talk to my elders, explain what has happened, and try to learn more about what my brother has done. And since that is a shorter part of the process, I would then like to return back to Silvery Moon, figure out, probably when we all regather, a funeral or burial of some sort for Tempard, and spend time with Olan, trying to learn to be a better leader, because that is where I have been placed on the path by Sylvanas.
Yeah, learning to be a better leader. Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
Learning to be a better leader. No other reason to go hang out with Olan.
Okay. So, the first step of this is you returning home.
Yes.
You go back to the path. Oh, it's a long walk.
Yes, it is.
And when you get there, you notice some things immediately. The path is different than it was just a few short days ago when you visited this place. It's how it's supposed to be. You think back to the last time you visited, and there are some things that don't quite line up with what you're seeing now.
Wasn't home.
And you have the flash of memory of your brother and his ring he was ever so proud of.
Dianthus.
You gather the last time you were here, you were never home. You never saw your sister. Dianthus. No one ever gave you dirty looks. No one ever sent you on your way. As you return home, there are 2 guards positioned at the edge of the path leading up to the village. Lysander! It's wonderful to see you!
Hello. Yes, it's been some time.
Welcome home! Welcome home!
Yes, it's been far too long.
I'm sure the elders would like to see you, question you about your right, how it went.
Yeah, there's a lot to cover. Yes.
Well, we won't keep you, but it's good to see you back.
You as well. Thank you.
You head forwards, and this time, almost causing you to flinch, you hear a voice. Ah! As you get tackled from the side as your little sister, Dandelion, knocks you to the ground.
Deja vu. Hello.
We're back!
Hello, small one. Yes, I am home.
Your arm is bloody.
Yes, I came from a battle and walked and did not stop walking until I got home.
Did you win?
I'm here, aren't I?
That doesn't mean you didn't lose. Maybe you ran.
Honestly, do you think I would run from a battle, of all things?
Kind of cocks her head. Kind of.
How dare you?
You have to go talk to the elders.
I do. Neve and father have a lot to say.
Have fun with that. And he,
You're not-
pops up and runs away.
I love you.
Waves generally in the distance.
Small ones. He knows our sister. That's for sure.
You, as you kind of stand up, brush yourself off. The village is not large. The screaming has drawn some attention.
Hello.
You hear a voice, low and echoing. So you've returned.
I have.
And you're right.
I think fighting in a mighty siege against giants to prevent the creation of a weapon of ultimate destruction is probably enough to consider it complete.
Possibly.
Yes.
Come. Your father turns and leads you into this kind of central hut in the village, the general town gathering spot for meetings and discussions. Already sitting inside and waiting, you see at the center of this small table in the back of the hut is Naeem, the village elder.
It's pronounced Neve.
Neve, that's weird. That's not how that's spelled.
It's Celtic.
Neve. And your mother on the other, on one side of this table. Your father walks around, takes a seat at the other side.
Hello.
Neve kind of looks at you. Lysander, Elias. You return.
I do.
And what is it you have learned?
I've learned the world outside is in great danger, that it is full of chaos and order battling indefinitely, that I am truly one of Sylvanus' chosen, his shield, his defender. And at this point, I would take the shield off my back and hold it in front of me.
Your mother kind of...
I fought in a siege on Grudd Haug with my friends, my clan, We were there to stop a group of terrible giants, not all giants, just these giants, who wanted to reassemble a weapon of ultimate destruction. Its power able to destroy any group with a touch of a button. And we won this battle. I've learned much about siege and tactics and protection, stuff that I could have never learned from the Clansguard. Stuff we may be able to implement in the Clansguard to make us more effective, albeit on a much, much smaller scale than sieging a giant fortress. But I have to keep protecting the world.
Your father kind of looks at you, seemingly unfazed by any of what you said. So you've spent your time on your right, trouncing about the world with your friends, your new clan, chasing mythos.
Not mythos, father. It is... We are being beset upon by a group called Xerxes, who is trying to destroy every non-humanoid creature. And we are tasked to stop them, to stop the broken giant ordering, to try and bring peace to all of Faerun.
We are not tasked to any such thing.
I am.
From who?
Sylvanas!
You know what Sylvanas teaches.
To protect.
The clan.
To protect all of Sylvanas and Shantaea's creatures. To protect his and her forests. To
And that is why we are here, but that is what we are doing.
There will be no here if I do not succeed. If we do not succeed, if I don't keep maintaining, protecting. I spoke to Sylvanai.
Sylvanai?
You know, great, etc. grandfather fought in the war of Sylvanas, where they, kind of like, again, holding up the shield, where they were split, where the traveler split their powers. There is a reason Dandelion and I worship so differently.
And who taught you all of this?
I learned it out in the world by meeting Sylvanas, by exploring more outside of our forest.
You are telling us that you met Sylvanas.
I did.
Our god just happened to come down to you and send you on a mission somewhere. World-threatening. Sylvanas' family, her forests, were all in danger. And yet you came here and said nothing. You came and told us nothing.
I tried to come home, father.
This is a grandiose tale you're telling to justify what? A lack of exploration? A lack of learning?
I have been all over the coast. I have been to Waterdeep, to Silvery Moon, to Golden Fields, to Nightstone, up into the spine of the world. I have seen the world and I have seen its dangers. Sylvanas did not send me on this quest, but Sylvanas supports me in it.
If you came here, then why did no one see you?
Because of Dianthus.
You blame your brother.
No, I came to seek the clan's aid, the aid from the Clansguard. I was brought here by the High Arbiter of Silvery Moon, Olan. He sent me home, but it wasn't... Have you seen Dianthus since he left on his right? Has he returned home?
No, because your brother is doing his right.
I have seen him. I have run into him. He has come across many new skills. He is spoke at length about necromancy. He has a ring of demiplane.
As you say those words, you hear a voice from behind you. I have?
Dianthus?
Standing in the doorway of this hut, looking at the elders, at you. That would be news to me if I ever said such a thing.
Dianthus, why did you...
Why did I what?
I came home. I came to get your aid, to get father's aid. Why
That's
did
good.
you abandon me?
Abandon you? I would never abandon you. You're my baby brother.
I came
What kind
here-
of nonsense are you speaking, Lysander?
I came to get you. I spoke with you. It was not here. It was wrong, and you did not help it, Grudd Haug.
What's happened at Grudd Haug?
The giant...
Lysander, this is the first time I've seen you since I left. Are you okay? Do we need to get you to the healers?
What do you mean it is the first time? Have you
Roll
met...
an insight check.
Okay, I guess I'll roll for it. I have advantage if it is trying to discern if someone is lying to me.
What do you think you're trying to determine if he is lying to you?
Yes. A 21.
It's a show. The healers, Lysander, do you need them?
I don't. I'm hurt, but I will manage. Father, Mother, Neve, may I cast?
What are you wanting to cast in this place?
Zone of Truth on both Dianthus and myself. If
Will
you
not-
would wish to do it yourself, by all means. Or one of somebody in this group
Kind of,
probably has it.
Your father glances at your mother and kind of nods. I don't know why we are doing this to our children. Stands. Zone of Truth appears.
Father doesn't believe me as usual. I choose to
Are you-
fail.
Danthos looks at you. Goes, the spell is cast, Lysander. What is it you are trying to get me to admit?
Admit that you have seen me in the last... Since I had left on my right and you had left on yours. Before now.
I have already stated this. Oh, you mean while the spell is active?
Yes.
What was it last time I saw you was before you left for your rights and I left on mine.
You met me outside of Golden Fields. You taught me lessons about myself. I came home to you. And you were the only one here who is real. And you are working with Xerxes. With Dandelion, with the with the Traveler. Why did you leave me in Grudd Haug?
I could never have left you in Grudd Haug if I was never there to leave you.
But you were here. I came for you, for Father, for the Clansguard. We could have used your aid. We lost many people in that battle. We ultimately won.
I recall no such conversation happening.
What did he do to you?
Who do to me?
Have you met a tall man dressed in fine clothes, silver hair, eye patch?
I don't think so. That's quite unique.
He told me to thank you for the warning when he came and killed my friend.
Tandis looks at you, and you can tell through this entire process that he's been
Crafting.
a step ahead of you. He knew the spell was coming. He knew how to phrase responses. And at this point, you hear a voice goes, Well, I've grown all but tired of this. And you see, walking from behind the table where the elders are sat, you see Sylvanas. Walks from behind the table, walks over, looks at your brother, goes, I've never liked you. And just kind of like, boop, and like lightly taps him, and Dianthus goes flying out of the hut.
Please don't hurt my brother.
He'll be fine. Kind of turns and looks at the table. Hello? Hello? Salutations. All three of them are just jaws dropped, staring forwards.
Sylvanas? Ooh, I don't remember my mom's name. Camellia?
How dare you?
Oh no, I have so many themed names. Aristo, Camellia, Neve, Sylvanas.
There's just not a word. You may understand this already, but when a group of people that follow me or my sister gather in one place, it becomes quite easy for us to listen in, to get an understanding, a view of what's happening.
This is in fact the Sylvanas holy site, yes.
So imagine my surprise when Lysander, my dear, sweet, chosen champion Lysander, was disbelieved at what he was saying. Your son, that buffoon who waltzed in here thinking he knew everything that was going on, is a liar, an oath breaker who no longer worships my sister or me. No one. No Sylvanas. But of course, you would just take his word for everything because he's the older one, he's the stronger one, he's the one that was supposed to lead. Lysander?
Yes.
You deserve better than this place.
Oh,
well, toodaloo. And it turns and takes a step and disappears.
So that is what my last few months have been like.
Well, I can say he's not what I expected.
His sister is just as much so. I've come across another Sylvanas worshipper in our travels.
You have?
Yeah, a Furbolg from the clans outside of Nightstone. Tapartos. Tapartos, if you will.
Tapartos.
I think.
The fourth?
Third? Fourth? He says he's Tapartos.
What? So,
I'm not coming home. I hope you know that.
Your father kind of just slams the table and stands up abruptly.
Lysander shrinks a little.
Takes very calm, calculated steps out and around, walks towards you. Looking down at you, arms kind of crossed behind his back. And he wraps you in a hug. I have brought nothing but shame to myself this day.
I understand why you would want to believe him. I didn't want to believe what I had heard either.
I am sorry. You go with our blessing, because it is clear that your right, whatever it is not over.
It is not. There is a very long road ahead of me of trying to soothe a broken giant infrastructure, literally and metaphorically.
You are a stronger man than I have ever been or ever will be, Lysander Elias.
Father, you know that's not true.
When my son came to me and told me of his troubles, I thought him a fool and a liar. Something you would never do. That alone proves me right. Now go. Because someday you need to come back here so I can finally take a fucking break.
Father, there are other families of...
Yeah, those families suck, though.
Yes.
He was kidding. Go. Spend as much time here as you would like. But go and see the world.
I will. I will continue to.
And
I
if
love
you
you,
ever
Father.
need us, come find me directly next time.
The copy of Dandelion said that you all would be mad that I was home early and ushered me into the woods.
Your brother's kind of a dick.
I have been telling you that for years, but siblings fight.
I need to go lie down. This has been a lot.
Yes.
Go. What are you waiting for?
Yes, of course. Thank you all. I will be back. I promise. I hope.
Nods. Your mom comes up and gives you a hug. She loves you, sends you on your way. As you're leaving, just getting into the village, you hear her voice. One moment.
Mm-hmm.
I love you too.
I'll make you continue to make you proud.
I know. Turns and starts walking back into the village. You spend the rest of your 6 months researching, helping Olan, helping the librarians at Silvery Moon researching these shrines, and spending some time with Olan, learning leadership tactics, learning everything you can, trying to become this leader and protector. Let's talk character sheets.
Yeah.
You did not do a whole lot of training.
No.
You did not do a whole lot of other stuff. But what I'd like you to do is you can go on and add the inspiring leader feat to your character sheet. And you can go ahead and raise your intelligence score by 1.
Oh boy, I'm at 12.
And that leaves us with one person.
I knew I was going to be last.
Well, yeah, you have to be last. Zach, we have a couple things to talk about here. Tumult. After the battle, after Grudd Haug, how was Tumult feeling? What was the plan from there?
As the map kind of suggests, I had seen Garagak duck under a table as a dog, and it kind of gravitated over there as we literally just tried to kill our friends. And having full memory of it, but knowing that we could do nothing to do anything else, I was a little bit distraught. Just kind of wanted to stay away. I saw Nook leave, and everyone started going their separate ways and doing their things. And while I was sitting there, having a very familiar thought of like what happened in the Temple of Anam, just the feeling of overwhelmingly powerlessness. And what more could we have done to make that battle any easier? And a single thought came to my mind. Had we not had Camiliater there and Silvery Moon and everyone else that did show up on just a whim, we would have lost. My mind swings back to the fact that we were told of a total of 10 ancient, well, we don't really know exactly who they are other than one other one, other than Camiliater, that there were dragons. Very old, very powerful dragons, all about the Storm Coast and the rest of Faerun. Knowing this, and knowing what happened after meeting one of them, if it came to no choices left on the table with how powerful Xerxes is, and we had to stop giants. There's only one race that's gone to war with them and is still alive to currently tell said tale. I would go to Olan and say, I'm going to need your help, but this task will take a while. I don't need you to come with me. I just need a way to communicate with you as I go. I must find things.
Worrying. Should I be worried?
I hope not, but I don't know how long this task will take. But if my friend should need to get a hold of me, I will leave a sending stone, and I also hand over the rest of the sending stones for you to be able to get a hold of those who had them when it's time to come back. But I will not come back on time. The only things I really need to go forward here on my own, obviously I might need a lift to 2 places, but I wonder, can I get a book on the language of dragons, the draconic language?
Walks through a portal. Walks immediately back out. I don't like this.
I don't either, but I'm sure once I meet who I need to meet, I won't have time to sit there and ritual cast comprehend languages over and over again. So learning a language seems a lot easier and safer. I know it's going to be a lot to ask.
Don't like this.
But I need a gem of seeing. What I'm trying to find are very powerful dragons, and they tend to not like to be in their dragonoid form. They're going to hide. Well, not really hide, but they're going to be different. Fully remembering the one that I talked to change himself into a drow and literally fly off.
I can do you one better. Who's your favorite Arcanist Magnate?
Obviously.
Who's your favorite High Arbiter of the Arcanist Magnate?
There's only one that I actually wished I had a conversation with.
And who is your best buddy in the whole wide world?
Garagak.
That's what I thought. These are important to me, Tumult, and you're going to bring them back. Do you understand?
Yeah, as long as I come back alive, we'll see
If
what happens.
I have to come and find you or your corpse, I will be upset.
As would they.
See, he reaches into the folds of his robes. And he pulls out a pair of glasses. These give you true sight as long as you are wearing them.
Shit. Those are expensive.
Don't die and bring them back. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Tumult.
Uh-huh.
Promise me.
I don't like making promises that are not in my ability to be kept.
This is within your ability. Don't be dumb.
I'm going to tell him who I met, who we met at the Temple of Anam.
You
And I
guys
don't-
already filled him in on the temple.
And I
and all
don't
stuff.
think you understand how powerless we were. Like, he could have chosen to kill us at any moment in time.
Right,
and
so
I'm
don't
trying
piss
to
him
find-
off, Tumult. Don't.
I'm not trying to piss them off, but I need to
Right.
find 9 others, and they might not be on the same page.
So stick with the one you know for now.
Ah.
At least to start.
Uh-huh.
Here.
All right. First stop, I need to go. I believe he was in Waterdeep, but I need to go see Jazzlot.
The dragon fucker?
Yup.
Okay. You go to Waterdeep. You go to that abandoned, abandoned looking tower that he lives in. You knock on the door.
Jazzlot.
Hello.
So when's the last time you've been out?
A few months ago. Why?
I am going on a very particular adventure by myself and would prefer the company of someone who understands these creatures, your area of expertise. I'm also trying to learn their language, and I'm assuming you know it, so it'd be good to practice with someone instead of just reading a book and hope I'm understanding this. But we're going to go track down some very old, powerful dragons that I am pretty sure you haven't met yet.
Define old and powerful.
The original 10.
The original 10?
Oldest of the old. First 10 dragons ever.
Myths and legends.
Yeah, except one could have killed me and then didn't.
Well, hypothetically, if they were real, yes, they absolutely could have just killed you.
Yeah, no, very much so. But yeah, that was a presence I did not necessarily like, but need.
And how do you know it was one of the 10? How do you know that?
You want to go talk to him? Because it's kind of the point of this journey to go track them down.
Right. Why would I leave here, the comfort of my own home, on a fool's errand to go track down a myth?
Well, I mean, if you like or know someone, you can cast Zone of Truth. I ain't telling them a lie.
What proof do you have?
I don't get a way to look at memories.
What?
I mean, either way, I'm pretty sure it's a dragon you haven't met.
Can you describe it? Any details at all?
I will fully describe the dragon as best as I can remember it. And the form he turns into.
Full skeletal thing, eh?
It was using another dragon skull as a medium, I think, at that point in time to reach us. But
interesting. Very well. Let me grab my things. He turns and walks in. You can see that this place is still just absolutely cluttered and sprawled with notes and drawings and all sorts of these things. And you can see that young silver dragon, the little wormling that he had as a pet, is kind of just curled up sleeping on a table.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Comes back down a few minutes later. Keep the house safe. Thanks.
I mean, you can come
Walks
back
out.
at any time if you decide you don't want to do this journey. I figured it'd be best to start with you because I am trying to learn a new language and you know how to track them. And if you teach me, I can probably do the rest on my own.
This sounds like an opportunity.
That's what I was hoping for.
Hold on, kind of just waiting outside.
Oh,
You-
Chaslot, he knew you, so maybe you know about Silvery Moon. But he's the new High Arbiter, and he is going to set us off on our journey.
Right, about that. Where are we going?
We are going to start with, I believe we saw him head. Where'd he go? He went west of the Eye of the Allfather when we came out.
I believe so, yes.
I would definitely start with either Raven Rock, unless that's like a thing, like not a place, but like another thing, like Eye of the Allfather.
It's like a destination. It's not a like township or anything.
Okay, then we'd go to Huddlestone.
Huddlestone it is. Look, once I get you there, you're on your own. All right?
I intend this to be a training journey for me and more of a, hopefully, way of expanding his research. But in 1 month's time, if I have found no leads to coaxial, I am having you send us to the Corn Archipelago. Where
name. You had a name? You didn't tell me a name when I asked you for any details at all.
Guess not.
This is going to be a long adventure, Tumult. A long one indeed.
That's the one we met. And by the way, Camilleotter was scared.
Well, that makes sense.
Just hearing the roar that he let out before he left us. So the fact that, they were scared had me scared a little bit, but they still showed up to fight. So that was the best thing ever. Thank God.
Are we ready? Here we go?
Yeah.
Great. I have things to accomplish. and all of your friends are treating me like a fucking taxi service. Just kidding. They're great. I offered. I have books to go read. It's a lot. All right. He like opens a portal and goes, "Go, be free." Huh. And with that, Tumult and the Dragon Fucker find themselves in the small, quaint town of Hundlestone. And now, Zach, we have another conversation to have.
Yeah.
Would you please describe to your fellow players, the audience at home, and to myself the new character that will be stepping into the story while Tumult is off on this dragon learning experience?
Yes. So after much debate with myself and using Coda and Alex's references, I fully expected Tumult to not survive that or to be forced to leave with Dandelion. So I had prepared for him to be gone, but then he wasn't. The fact that we fully remembered everything that happened kind of broke him a little bit on the inside. So I figured it was best for him to leave on his own little training arc, not just for the 6 months, but for as long as he needs. He will always be there, and he is, as he reminded Olan, a sending stone away, and he will let the group know every time he finds at least one of them that he has made contact with another one and that he's at least still alive. So that was the plans there. So then came, how do I bring in a new guy? Another fun person who I didn't want to be the mold of his class type. I wanted him to be different. So here comes Zykor Valenor, a high elf rogue. But unlike most typical rogues that you might see or hear from, his family is very much alive and very much happy. They are a family of adventurers, and he has grown up around nothing but basically adventuring groups such as ourselves, just going around, keeping towns safe, killing undead, going after monuments, and being like that force. But he has been looking to make a name for himself. He's always grown up knowing everything that his parents have done. Everyone's like, "Oh, you are Malthus' son. You are blah blah blah's child." No, I am Zykor. My name will be my legacy, not anything that's been done before I came into being. And hearing the exploits of this small little group that drew together armies to Grudd Haug to assault the giants has piqued my interest, as what they seem to be planning on doing is fighting an all-out war, and they seem to have one battle won. What better way to make a mark on history than to be on the winning side and write it yourself? So the entire time that the group has been away from Silvery Moon, I've been looking for signs of this group, where they may be holed up or staying at, and everything leads me back to the last known contact you guys had, a High Arbiter of Silvery Moon. So as I come into the city, I would be seeking out Olan, looking for any of them that had stayed or had been in contact, offering my services to be of use, to make a name.
So, several months have passed since the events at Grudd Haug. You come into Silvery Moon, and you're greeted by several guards at the gate. You're not pulled into a cell. You're not interrogated. You're let in with a telling of, don't be dumb. We are more powerful than you, so don't fuck with us. In kinder words than that. You ask around for the High Arbiter, and as you ask, there's a brief pause, and a circle of dark energy appears in front of you. And stepping out of this ring, you see the figure of Olan, who looks at you and goes, "You're looking for me?"
More like the information that you have, not you specifically.
Right. What do you want?
I need the chosen ones. Whoever they are, all I know is they're comprised of furfolks, a half orc.
Yeah.
Support.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
What do you need with them?
I wish to go adventuring. You see, my family has been known to.
Look, honestly, I'm a busy guy. All right. I got a lot of shit to do. I'm the high arbiter of a town. I'm the chosen one's preferred taxi service. I'm their go-to
Okay.
guy, so to say.
I did choose a right with them. High Arbiter of Silvery Moon in their back pocket.
That's not how this works, and don't get me wrong, I will fuck you up. I will.
I don't doubt it with your whatever magic that was. Doesn't look normal. But we can be civilized here. I mean, come on. I
Give
kind
me
of
a
just
minute.
look at myself like we are both elves here. We do have a sense of
Yeah, no,
courtesy.
we got rid of the race thing a while
I'm
ago.
just saying that we are more inclined to talking and not seeking trouble.
Sure. I'll be back in a sec. If I could get Ileana and Lysander back in the front and center, please.
The ones in town.
Hi, friends.
Hello.
Well,
So the two of you, as you're both back in town, have likely met up, and you guys are having lunch for the day. You're both studying. You're having a break from your due diligent researching, and Olan appears in a chair sitting next to you guys.
Oh, hello.
Hey. So this is a new one.
Okay.
Someone just came into town. Real fancy, kind of douchey looking guy. No, not that one.
Okay. Don't scare. I just went through.
Do you really think that this would be how I would be approaching that situation?
I don't know. You're.
I would just pop up in the middle of a cafe and be like, "Oh, by the by, a god's here." Hey.
You handle things differently than I'm used to.
No, this one came looking for you. Although I suppose the other one would probably be looking for you too.
Yes.
No, this one wants to adventure.
Oh. What are we?
Hmm.
Ileana, we are prone to picking up people who want to come along with us, as I'm sure you have seen, having met Phil and Soup and Gum Gum and. Yeah.
I mean, I'm still pretty new myself too. I don't see any harm in more people helping us.
Oh, yeah, I suppose you're also a relatively new. I guess there's more. Do you care to go vet a person who wants to join?
Hold on, I just have like just a couple more bites. This is really good.
We can probably bring. It's not like the library. We could bring it. We could get a box.
Yes, okay, let's do it.
You get a box for you for the rest of your food. And Olan goes, you are in for such a treat. And he just like opens a portal. Goes, have fun.
Okay. Yep.
We go through.
Holding takeout boxes of.
Yeah. The two of you step through the portal. Zach, why don't you describe what they see when they first lay eyes on Zykor?
Zykor Valinor?
Valenor.
Oh, Valenor.
He is kind of tall for a roguish elf, standing at just over 6 feet, at 6'1". He has deep gray skin, easy to blend in the night and the shadows of the forest. But his eyes are very different. They are kind of glowing a nice sea greenish color, little wisps appearing from the corner of its eyes, kind of like they're just constantly radiating power. currently, I would just be, you would see me in a simple cloak, as I did not want to show up appearing any sort of hostile to Silvery Moon, as I know their customs and everything. But similar to Tumble, I do wear the glamored style of the armor, so I do change it a lot. It's kind of my go-to at
course.
this point. Yeah. And his hair is tied into one long ponytail. As you see these long brownish black locks just kind of kept back. And you see a bow, but nothing else. Just that's pretty much it for what you see currently.
Is he young?
By elf standards, not as young as Ileana. I'm only 220.
Like walks through portal, like taking a bite of a sandwich. You're looking for us?
Kind of takes a glance at Ileana, bows a little bit. Never met a sea elf this far inland before, but yes.
Oh, she
I was
wasn't.
actually a high elf.
Yeah, she wasn't always a sea elf.
This is recent.
Then much more honors. Why, someone so young and accomplished.
Thank you.
Just kind of taken back by the fact that you're like, you're high elf this young and doing. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have special circumstances for why I'm adventuring so young. But you said your name is Zyko?
Yes. You see, my family is adventurers, very much so. Not to your scale, from what I've heard. All these stories getting passed around after what you did at Grudd Haug.
Are they like the Tent Clan? We had one of those.
No.
Oh.
More like, I'm assuming, I heard the Retribution Company took part in that battle.
Yeah,
Similar to that, but not as big.
Sort of
Still widely known in
disbanded.
our part of the world, though. But see, the thing is, I will no longer live in my parents' or my ancestors' shadows. I have a little bit more ambition than that. My name needs to go down separately. I don't like living off of past glories. I fight for what I have. I fight for what I am. What you're doing is going to affect literally all of history, and the winning side gets to write it.
Oh,
Told
you are
guys you would like this one.
you are bound to be insufferable, aren't you?
Don't know. No, I'm not that. I trust in my skills, but I'm more of a man of prove it than just take my word for it. I don't expect to literally show up and you'd be like, oh yeah, please come along with us. We have no idea who you are.
Even though you came into town and asked me to find them so you could say, hey, let me come along, even though we have no idea who you are.
Yeah, but they have every option to say no, and I'm not going to force them into yes.
That's
That's
new.
how-
That's new for you guys.
Yeah, we normally we've never had anyone seek us out before. So this is a new turn of events. We normally pick up people along the way and they don't leave.
I tug on Lysander's like sleeve.
Yeah.
And I like point like away from Zyko and like I kind of like drag you away.
Yeah, it's just like we have like side huddle.
I will turn around and let them do their thing. Like I said, this is a fully optional thing.
Yeah, we say no, and Zach has to roll another new character.
At that point, I'm just playing an Arcanist Magnate randomly. That's just like, hey, I'll help you guys out.
Thoughts?
Yeah. Okay. So, fully aside my business. So we don't really know if they're like really who they say they are. Don't we have people that want to like kill us?
Yeah, there's a large amount of people who want to kill us.
How do we do this?
Like I said, I'm not used to people coming up to us per se. We're more the pick up any random stray. No offense. No. Speaking more.
I'm not even
like,
listening to what you guys are saying. I was
no,
literally
that was
giving
to
you guys default
Ileana.
privacy.
It's
Oh,
like more like Phil and Soup and the others that we. Hey, buddy! Like kind of like over the shoulder.
yes.
So, how did you find out about us?
Who hasn't heard of you? The tales of what you guys did at Grudd Haug. You thought it would be quiet.
I don't.
Oh, you guys are having a crisis, aren't you?
Oh, Alon, we are not. This is people don't.
I can literally just figure it
Oh,
out
do the
right
mind
now.
thing. Do the mind thing. Does he hate us? Is he with Xerxes? What is going on?
Hey, Tumble. Nope. Whoops. I looked at Zach and his name.
I'll change it.
What was it? Iker? Is it
Zykor.
Cool.
Zykor. Hey, do I have permission to have a?
He wants
Sure.
to read your mind.
I need to read your mind.
Yeah. No,
Pauses for a
there's a
minute.
check that's a complete fail.
Believe it or not, that was a very fast process. I truly believe that this individual holds no ill intent towards you and truly is as blanket, straightforward, and clear and clean cut with his mission and goals as he has stated.
That's new.
Yeah.
I look back over at Lysander, and then back over at Zykor. So you know that there's a very, very high chance that we're going to die
Yeah.
in our mission, and you still want to come?
If it's not worth dying for, is it worth fighting for? You, and I will point to Lysander. I don't know what forest you're from, but we have met many furbolgs along my many years of meeting my parents' adventuring parties and people they've interacted with. But you and your people are very, I guess, defensive when it comes to people tearing down your forests, if you will. And some have even, I would say, given their lives stopping things from becoming bad or destroying the works of Sylvanas. Yes.
To generalize to all furbolgs, I suppose, yes.
I mean, you all have your own little areas you protect. But you were given choices, I'm assuming, from all the things we've heard about rights. I don't know everything about them, but I've heard stories.
You are surprisingly learned.
I can't be much of a, I guess, talker or slip myself easily into things
Leans
without
over to
studying,
Ileana. We need one of those.
without doing my research. And you guys were given a choice of whether or not you truly wanted to fight for this. Like, if you did not truly wish that this was a cause worth dying for, you didn't follow. If I want my name to be cemented in history outside of my family's, that is worth dying for.
Kind of pull Ileana aside. He seems fine. Obviously, he needs to meet everyone else in a few months, but
Yeah, I like him.
just kind of turn back and like try to look leadery. I guess you will be a new recruit. You'll have to meet the rest of our group. They will also have a say, but if you are
like I
as...
said, I'll go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt.
Oh, you're going to be something. If you are as truly forward as you say, and you do want to just risk your head and hide for glory, I guess, and like the betterment of all humanoid kind. Sure.
As I said, this is a completely one-sided decision. It is not up to me. If your group says no, I must go find something else. your stories came, intrigued me, did my research, and here I am.
Hold on. What did he call us when he asked for us?
The chosen ones.
Oh, I don't like that. Is that
I
really
mean-
what we're known as out and about?
It really is.
Oh.
You guys didn't really come up with a name for yourselves. So
The
people
worst
just-
part is that is the one that like Dandelion gave us. So like that is almost a cursed name. All right, that's yep. Okay,
Fuck is
We gotta
Dandelion?
change that.
we should.
You guys are like losing to a flower.
We're losing to a god.
Oh, that sounds much more fun. We're gonna kill it.
I don't like you. Zach,
That
we're back.
seems-
We're back at square one, baby.
That seems true to brand of you to not like your new people that join in your party.
I liked Ileana immediately.
Yeah, weird. There must be some higher power controlling the ones you just don't get along with. That's weird.
Yeah, it's my character.
Alrighty, let's get everybody back in for one last little closeout thing.
It was a long one, baby.
Yeah, I did not expect that to move on as long as it did. It's so good to see all of your faces on the screen at one time. But I think it's going to be cool to have all the little one-on-ones and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't want you guys to miss out on each other's stories and hearing all the cool things you guys were doing. I know this one was boring to play through, guys, so I'm really sorry about that. But next one will be
The Zoom chat was popping.
the
Yeah, it
group
really
back
was.
together again. At one point, I looked over; it was like 99 plus, and I was like, "Oh." But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun with it. It was good stuff. You guys got some new things. One last little thing. I know you guys just did it, but you're going to bump up to level 12 because you spent 6 months bettering
What?
yourselves. So you guys can do that during break.
Okay.
Everybody at home, thank you so much for watching. We are going to be right back at it next week. Same usual time, same day, playing Dungeons and Dragons.
We played Dungeons and Dragons.
Maybe we'll see.
Share, comment, subscribe. We might kick Zach off the show.
Which one of them? I mean, there's three now.
So
Yeah.
many.
Bring it back.
No.
Here.
No, there's only 2 of them. The
We're
other one
bringing back
is
more here. It's
he's
gonna be
gone.
awesome. But thank you guys so much for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Let your friends know about us. Let your family know about us. Tell your grandma about us. And if she doesn't want to watch it, pull it up on her computer anyway. She won't know what's happening regardless.
Oh, man.
We will see you guys next week on the Dice That Bind Us. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.